Hello and welcome to the Blues Focus podcast with me, your host, John Graham. Thank you so much for taking the time to download this pod. Please feel free to share, leave comments, good, bad, indifference, whether you agree or disagree. We want a lively debate over the coming weeks and your input is going to be absolutely vital to do that. The purpose of this week's pod is to preview the forthcoming third round FA Cup fixture between Manchester City and the Blues, away at the Etihad on Sunday at 1:30. I think when the names were drawn out the hat, and sure, we know this is a tough tie, but at that time, Blues were in an okay sort of run of form. City was struggling, and there was no reason to think that we couldn't go to the Etihad and maybe put in a performance and, who knows, maybe a positive result. How times have changed over the last couple of weeks. Blues, their form has fallen off the face of the earth. City have now kicked on and certainly developed a way of play that we're all used to seeing and something that I think will run them very close to winning the league and potentially the Champions League. So for us, it's, there's no sort of shying away from it. It's going to be a very difficult game. But that being said, we don't know the side that Pep's going to pull out. He has always treated all the cup competitions with a lot of respect, regardless of the opposition. No reason to think he's going to do anything different. So I think we can expect a strong side. Whether it's going to be exactly the same side that he fielded for the Chelsea and United games, time will tell. Probably unlikely. I think that Mendy, Walker and a couple of the youngsters may come in. But that being said, even if they do, the one thing that I think every football fan will appreciate is they're not going to try and change the style of play regardless of who's playing for Man City on Sunday. So we know what to expect. They're going to be very, very high energy, a lot of high pressure, closing the ball down a lot when they haven't got it, retaining a lot of possession. I think we can probably assume they're going to have probably 70% of the ball this coming Sunday, and it's how we deal with that. And if we're not on a game and Karanka hasn't got a game plan to combat the obvious strengths of City, then we are definitely going to struggle. Been massively impressed with Stones and Diaz at centre half. I really hope they don't play because we've been terrible in front of goal this season. Worst, we're not great at the best of times, but my God, over the last few weeks we've looked absolutely terrible. So if those two are there, then we are really going to struggle. They've got a wealth of fullbacks they can put in. And Mendy, as I say, can come in and do a job there. And the midfield, you've only got to look. If they put their frontline midfield out, then they're going to be having a lot of possession and probably doing a lot with it. I think that Gundogan has been a revelation this season. Foden is definitely turning into the player that I think we all thought he was going to be. Definitely a future England captain from my point of view. Sterling, again, has been incredibly consistent for club and country for a number of seasons now. De Bruyne, probably top 5 in the world. Well, certainly in his position, he's definitely top 5 in the world, but just in general, he's just a different class. And we're not used to that level of player coming down to St Anne's or obviously when we play away. But I think the biggest problem or the biggest challenge in the unknown for us and for Karanka is whether he's going to play a false nine where either Mahrez or Sterling or De Bruyne, if they're all playing, they could play there. Obviously, Jesus and Aguero have been out for quite a while, but I think Aguero needs game time, and I would be surprised if he doesn't play. Which, I mean, he's obviously not at full fitness, which is a bit of a boost for us, but you can't doubt his quality. And one of the key areas we've struggled this season is centre half, and you chuck him into the mix, and it's going to be a challenge. I think one of the things that concerns me the most is the way that they press, their high press. They won't give us much more than a couple of seconds on the ball. And Blues, apart from a few games, they haven't really got it down and looked to play. I think that's a lot to do with the personnel that's been on the pitch. And I'd really hope that Karanka plays a team that have the ability to retain some possession. Because if he thinks the answer is just lumping up to Djukovic, then we've literally got no chance. And if that's the case, then I'll talk about my views on Karanka in a bit. But this is a game where I think our expectations of fans aren't that we're going to go up there and get a victory. I hope we do, but I think all of us are expecting a performance. I think that's the least that he can deliver. A little bit of respect for the fans, and the players probably need to have a bit of a long, hard look at themselves, given what they've served up over recent weeks. And this is a really good opportunity to, I guess, start afresh. As I said, it's a free roll. We're not expecting anything. The pressure's off to a degree. It's going to be a bloody hard game, but at the end of the day, they're professional footballers, and these are the games that they should want to be playing in. And as I said, with the high press that City are they're definitely going to put on us, then we need to make sure that the players on the park can cope with that as much as possible, and that we've got more than one option of, as I said, just smashing up to Djukovic and hoping for the best, because that's going to end in tears, I'm afraid. So just recapping on City, then definitely going to be a very, very strong side. I think Aguero will come in. I think Mendy will come in, maybe Walker. I think if their centre-half partnership is intact, then it's going to be very difficult for us. Bit of an unknown quantity in the sticks for them. But from what I've seen, he looks a decent keeper. So I don't think there's a major weakness there. But there's nothing wrong with a few shots from long range just to see, to see if he's up to it. That would certainly be making sure that our midfield are doing that. We've got the firepower in midfield, whether it be Sanchez, whether it be, Kifton Belt scored a few long-range goals, not for a while, but I'm sure we'll all remember the few that he scored a couple of seasons ago, and hopefully he can do the same this coming Sunday. But yeah, I'll definitely be testing the keeper with a few pot shots. But then as far as Blues, which I guess, that's what we're all about, that's what we're interested in. Can we hand on heart say what sort of side he's going to play? No, I know the side that I don't want him to play. And I think the side that he picked against Blackburn was refreshing, albeit naive, with his centre-half partnership, which I actually quite like. But when you're playing against a side like Blackburn that are very much on the break, counter-attacking with a lightning-quick centre-forward that's got 16 goals this season, don't play a high line and don't play San Jose at centre-half, who his only weakness is his pace. I've got no problem with San Jose. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I think he's shown some really good signs this season, but he was massively exposed and got a lot of criticism on social channels, of which, I get it. As I said, I'm not really gonna. I don't really want to dig him out, because I think he's shown enough for me. And you look at his pedigree of what he's done over in Spain, then he is a good footballer. There's no two ways about it. And as I said earlier, I think it's going to be really important that we've got good footballers on the park on Sunday, because we've got the hard tackling, combative, just lump it forward merchants. Then it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and to be honest, I'm sick of watching it. It was okay to a degree under McLeish and Bruce, because at least there was an end product. We tended to be relatively robust at the back and nick the odd goal, but we're neither one thing nor the other at the moment. We're looking to defend deep. We're looking to defend first and foremost, and we're making stupid mistakes, conceding goals. So we're not getting the defence right, and we certainly ain't getting the attacking element of the game right. So a lot of work to be done. But if I run through the team of what I would do, and then maybe make some comments on what I actually think is going to happen. I think for me, Etheridge obviously has to pass to play. Other than the mistakes against Middlesbrough and Derby, he's been a revelation for us. Really like him. Love his attitude. For me, I think he gets it, even though he's not played in front of a home Blues crowd. He's obviously played against Blues when he was at Cardiff. And hopefully he's got a bit of a vibe about what the club is and the fans and what we expect. And I just like his personality. I think he brings a lot to the party. So I'd certainly start with him. I do think that he needs to go back to basics a bit. I like the way that he was very commanding on corners up until the point that he threw one in his own net against Middlesbrough. But other than that, I think it's important that he stays positive. We can't have him shackled to the line and waiting for balls to come into the 6-yard area. And we're in a world of pain. And we've conceded recently off those types of deliveries. So he needs to be positive. At the back, I would play a 3. We've done that. Well, we played a 3 or a 5, whichever way you look at it. But for me, it's a 3. Played like that against Reading, which I thought we actually played some decent football against Reading. Defended well, created some decent chances. I think Lecco went close, and so did Hogan. But that was a good platform. I like that shape. And for me, I play San Jose at sweeper. He's a fantastic footballer. He hasn't got any pace, I get that. And I think that he's got that bit of insurance policy for us if we've got two in front of him that can hopefully, marshal the likes of Aguero and his movement. And if we do get breached, then at least he's behind them to mop up and not just lump it forward, but to start to play it out from the back, or obviously nice pass back to Etheridge, whatever it is. I think he's got that calm, cool influence that we're going to need on Sunday. We don't need hotheads. I'm not going to mention who I think's a hothead yet. You'll get that in a minute. But I think that San Jose is going to be a key player for us. He's played at the level. He'll have seen football like this before. Some of our players won't, not to this level. And I think it's important we've got a little bit of quality in there. So he played at sweeper for me. The two in front of him would be Friend and Clark Salter. I think Friend has been just a tremendous player for us. Not a gifted footballer, but for me, he's everything that I'd ever want in a Blues player. 100%, doesn't shirk it. He's actually quite an intelligent player. He holds people up. He stands them up. He doesn't lunge in. You don't see him going to ground a lot. And we can't do that on Sunday. So 100% George Friend would be in for me. Clark Salter, I thought at the end of last season, he had a run of games with Mark Roberts alongside him, and I thought he was different class. And he is different class. He's played, virtually every age group for England. He's a Chelsea player. We're fortunate to have him. He's never had a run in the team. He's pretty good ball to feet. He's a decent footballer. So for me, I'd have those two in front of San Jose. There's a lot of size there. There's a bit of pace with Clark Salter. And as I say, that insurance policy with San Jose behind. Wing backs. So 5 in midfield. The wing backs for me would be Colin, who, again, very consistent performer. Don't think he's had his best season this season, but again, I don't think it's been a complete disaster. He's certainly one that we can rely on, and he's very defensively minded, which again, I think we're going to need this coming weekend. I think that Dacus Cogley was really good against Blackburn. I really do. I think he's got a good future and a bright future at Blues. He was unlucky to get taken off. I didn't really see the logic in that against Blackburn. I don't know what that does for his confidence, but for me, he had a really good game. I wouldn't play him against City. I just think that we're going to need that experience. We're going to need to have shape. And I think at times that Dacus Cogley can be a little bit... I think his decision-making, ball to feet, sometimes isn't great. But other than that, I feel that he's got a bright future, but I would play Colin on the right. Pedersen definitely on the left for me. Again, defensively minded, which, we're going to probably be a 5 more than a 3 at the back. But he does offer a little bit going forward. I don't know whether Karanka actually rates him that much. He seems to be a bit in and out. But for me, early season form that got him the Danish call-up, I think is, testament to his ability. And I would definitely want him in the side. The one that would probably miss out on that side would be Bella, which I'm a massive fan of his. But I think in this system, I'd want him wide, and I don't know whether he would fit in this particular system. And that's not to say that I don't think he's had a decent season, because I think he's one of the few players that has. And I think there could be a part to play for him as we go into the second half of the game. I think the middle of the park, I'm going to say, Clifton Bell is one of my, I think favourite players that's played for Blues for a number of seasons. I thought he was out. I thought he was gone when Karanka came in. But then when he put him in for the games against Bristol City and Reading, he was man of the match by a mile. No surprise we won the game. And people do underestimate what a fantastic footballer he is. He doesn't panic. He's not just about lumping it, and we are desperately going to need that on Sunday. I would be hugely disappointed if he doesn't play Clifton Bell. And if he plays Clayton, we might as well just knock it on the head. He has been... He's not... I don't know whether he's fit, but he's not mobile. He's negative. His forward passes are not good enough. It's sideways or backwards. And I have to say, when he first played his first game for Blues, I thought, okay, if he gets to fitness, he might have something to offer here. He hasn't. And for me, Clifton Bell's got to be in there. I think with him, I'd put Gary Gardner if he's fit. Again, Gary's played at again, that sort of standard. He's a good footballer. He's good for a goal. He's got some grit about him. He's a Blue, knows he'll want it. I I wouldn't play Sunjic. Not that I don't particularly like Sunjic, but yeah, he runs around a lot. He dives in, gets a yellow card. I think the concerning thing for me is he's starting to get himself in sort of advanced positions. He's had some unbelievable opportunities in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and he hasn't scored. He never looks like scoring. I think with Gary in the team, if he's in those sort of positions, I'd like to think he's certainly going to hit the target, and he's already got a couple of goals this season, so he'd definitely be in there in that mix for me. And the third one of the three, probably going to get absolutely slaughtered for this, but I put McGree in there. I think that we need somebody that, again, does the simple things really well. And I think he does that. I think he's been massively unlucky. I think the number 10 position for Blues is a bit of a poison chalice because we just don't play through the thirds. We don't get him in the game enough. So I'd probably try and get him into the mixer a little bit more and then play him in that sort of advanced position in a middle three. And he'd get a lot of protection with Gardner and Kifton Belt. So yeah, they'd be my three. So the two wide would be Pedersen and Collar, and the three would be Kifton Belt, Gardner, and McGree. Up top, 100% Djukovic. He's been absolutely terrible in front of goal, but you know what? He's earned the right. He's earned the right to play in this game. No one's ever going to say to me that bloke doesn't absolutely live and die for the club, and at these times when we've got no form, that's what I want. I want players that are going to, put it about, but I just want us to use him in a bit more of an intelligent way. Just smashing it 50 yards with no support and hoping he's going to do something with it. I mean, there's been so many games now where, guess what, it doesn't work. So can we just stop doing it? And I think that, he's been massively unlucky. He gets manhandled every single game. He never gets the fouls that he warrants. And I just hope there's a couple of incidents against Blackburn when he could have taken a shot and he didn't. He's obviously suffering with a bit of an issue on confidence, and I get that. But, as I said, this game's a free roll. We need to play with... We've got nothing to lose. And as long as we've got a strong work ethic, then, they've got to earn the right to beat us. And I think if we can go with that mentality, then, who knows what we can get out of the game. Then the last position is that sort of number 10. And whether it's number 10 or somebody off Hogan, whatever, off Djukovic, sorry. And the reason I say Hogan is, do we play him or not? Do I think he deserves it? No, I don't. Do I think he's put a shift in for us? Rarely. Am I disappointed? Massively, because I thought he was the answer. I genuinely did. I'd love to see his stats around sprints per game. How much he runs per game. I don't see it. I just see a jog. I see somebody that's not interested. But he strikes me as a sort of player that if he does play on Sunday, then lo and behold, you're going to get work rate. You're going to get a performance because it's the sort of game he wants to play in. But you shuck him in against Wickham in a few weeks, I don't think you're going to get the same performance. So would I play him? I don't know. Maybe. I think it's a flip of a coin between him, Terrell, and Sanchez. I like Sanchez because I think he brings a lot as far as the dead ball option is concerned. I love him wide. I'd play him on the left personally if we're playing 4-4-2. Karanka never does it. He plays him on the right and completely narrows the pitch, which is brainless. He's played him in that middle three, and he's so left-footed. I just don't think it works, and he's lightweight. But there's no doubt in his ability at all. And I think most people would have him in the team, but in this system that I think we should go with, he doesn't get in unless we play him at 10. So, and then, Terrell is a bit mercurial. Scored those 2 amazing goals a few weeks back, and he's obviously got it. But again, he's one of these players who's just not getting a run of sort of opportunities in the team. He said he's got that number 10 role that's pointless, whether we're playing a 4-4-2, 3-5-2, call it what you want. We just don't give the 10 the opportunity to play the game. And Ilalovic, if he's fit, which I don't think he is, he's going to have the same problem. And we really need, if we're going to have these creative players, we've got to get them in the game because it's so frustrating to see it and see what they can bring to the party. And I see that Dan Crowley's going to be on his way, which for me personally is a massive disappointment. Albeit he's had his chances, but yeah, what a footballer he is. But in fairness, he probably never quite delivered it for Blues. So I would say if I was going to put out of a gun put to my head, I would probably say I'd put Sanchez in at 10. Hogan is a very talented footballer, but I don't think he deserves it. And I think with Terrell, is he going to give us that sort of energy where we're going to need to close them down when they're passing out the back? Probably not. I think Sanchez will do that for us, and he's a threat on dead balls and free kicks. And the goal he scored the other week was different class. I've admitted Lecco, just don't get it. It's probably the most disappointed about a signing I've been for ages. Everybody was clambering for his signature. We got him. It felt like a decent deal. And first touch, where is it? I just, yeah, it's a shame. Again, it's one of those. What do you do? He definitely doesn't warrant a start. I think his confidence is going to be quite low. He might be a good impact player to bring on if we need him, but for me, he doesn't start. And for me, that would be it. That would be my 11. I think he's a good blend of defence. I think by having San Jose in there, we've got a good ball playing sweeper. We've got plenty of bite in Gardner and Kiftенbelt in the middle of the park. But then with McGree and Sanchez just drifting around Dukey, I think it gives us multiple options. And those wide players are defensively minded. So, that hopefully will keep tabs on Sterling and Mahrez if they play. Prediction for the game, score-wise? Yeah, I just hope it's not embarrassing. First and foremost, I just want them to put in a performance that we can build on for the coming weeks. That's all I'm looking for. I think if I'm being uber positive, then maybe a 1-1, 0-0 sort of scoreline would be a good result, and see where we go with penalties. And I think then, other than that, as I said, this is about a bit of self-respect, a bit of respect for the fans. We know it's not going to be easy, but they're professional footballers. They're playing for, in my view, one of the biggest clubs in the country. And we need to show that, and they haven't done that. And I think Karanka needs to really get hold of them and say, this means a lot. And it's about pride in the shirt. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. And when it's on such a sort of a high focus game like this in the FA Cup, then we don't want to be letting anybody down. And I hope that everybody that's watching the game, I wish we could all be there. Really giving it plenty on the terraces, but it's not to be. So we can certainly do that from home, and just enjoy it. I hope they serve up something that we can really be proud of, and we can get ourselves on track for the coming weeks. But yeah, great to be playing such a fantastic team in Man City, and that's what we're aspiring to. We don't want to be a championship side forever, and this is hopefully what we're going to be playing pretty much every week. Who knows in a couple of years' time. But for now, thank you for listening to this podcast. Hopefully, I haven't taught a complete load of rubbish. And if I have, feel free to comment. It's a free world, as they say. But yeah, enjoy it. And hopefully I'll be back to give you a podcast on a review of the game. And we'll find out whether my team has been picked. I doubt it. I can't wait to see Harley Dean and Clayton play. And if they do play, then just what is going on in the world. But yeah, I haven't done my Harley Dean rant, so that'll come for future weeks. I've wasted a lot of energy on that over this season. So thank you again for listening, and see you after the game, and keep right on, stay positive and stay safe. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.